Hi everyone, it's Ed from APS. I thought I'd do a quick walk around video to show you two very unique and very special Volkswagen Golfs that are with us on site at the moment. One is our 2017 Clubsport S that we've just sold, and the other is a Mark II Golf GTi, a 16 valve big bumper from 1990. Both really special cars, and to have them together like this is quite unique. So I thought I'd share that with you, and we'll go and take a quick look around them. So if we start with the Clubsport S, this particular car, this is a January 2017 car. It's done just over 4,000 miles and it's finished in the very fetching Tornado Red, which I think is the colour to have them in. It's really lovely. If you look around it, you can see the detail pretty clearly. The different scoops on the front for the air ducting. On the back of the car, you've got quite a large rear spoiler on the tailgate, which is unique to the Clubsport S, the lower valance. They're just some of the visual differences that sort of separate this from the regular GTI or the Golf R or the TCR. So it's still quite subtle, but if you look up close, you can really see the differences. For example, if we go into the front of the car, these scoops at the front, these actually do something. They actually do go through and channel air into the brakes, which is something that's quite unique on this car. Only 400 of these made. This is car number 237. It's in excellent condition. After we purchased it, it sold pretty swiftly actually. I wasn't sure if we were going to end up hanging on to it or if we were going to sell it. But we had a customer that's driven from the other end of the country to come and buy it. So it'll be loaded up on a trailer and transported to him in due course. The car itself, the concept was to build a limited run, high performance Golf that was capable of being used as an everyday car, although not many of them are, but also that you could get into and you could use on track and it wouldn't disgrace itself, and it certainly doesn't. These are immensely capable cars. The difference is that the Clubsport S has over a regular GTR performance pack, the different hubs, the trick diff, the extra power, to drive it. As I said in one of the previous videos, the difference is incredibly noticeable. The traction is excellent. The way in which it deploys the power is excellent. You don't get any torque steer. You don't really get any understeer. It really does cope with it very well. If you look at the inside of the car, that's obviously completely unique as well to the Clubsport S. The seats, the Recaro seats, the steering wheel with the 12 o'clock marker. You've got the plaque just there with the production number, 237-400. Manual gearbox as well, and that's something that I really miss in a lot of the cars these days, that most of them are DSG, and actually to have a car like this where you can drive it with a manual gearbox and actually control it is superb, and that's something that I think sadly is missing from a lot of today's cars, particularly the car I drive most days, a TCR. I really miss having a manual. I'd love it if that was a manual car, that would be even better. We take a look in the back, no rear seats of course to save some weight. Strut bar across the back and a net there, and that's pretty well it. This car has air conditioning. That was the only option that you could have at the time of ordering these, is to delete the air conditioning. So if you were really speccing one to use for track use and wanted to make it as light as possible, then that was basically all you could take off from the order. One of the other things that you can note on the Clubsport S's, so we've got the regular 19-inch Pretoria alloy wheels there, but also we've got Michelin Pilot Cup 2 tyres. They all had dynamic chassis control as well, which is excellent. That really helps it too. So overall, there's always the arguments between, what was the best Mark 7 Golf, and some of you may remember last year, Andrew Chappell from Volkswagen and I did a video comparing TCR to the regular Clubsport Golf, I think it was, and the conclusion was the TCR was the better car. But you can't really compare this to any of the others because it wasn't sort of targeting the same audience. This was really a very unique car in its own right, and it drives in that way too. They are very, very impressive and very collectible. So I have to say, if you're thinking about getting one of these, they're a pretty good investment. If you can find a good one that hasn't been abused and has been well looked after, which most of them generally have been, then these are a very good buy. Now, if we wind the clock back 30 years from today, or nearly today, we go back to August 1990. This beautiful Mark II Golf in Atlas Grey was born, or near enough born. It was first registered August 1990. Since then, it has not seen a huge amount of use, and hence its condition, which is hard to overstate actually. I think this is probably as close to rolling off the production line as you can find. If there is a better, cleaner example out there, then congratulations, you've probably got one of the best Mark II Golfs in existence. This particular car, it still wears its original paint. It's never had a respray, and the condition underneath, I'll show a couple of pictures from it in our workshop on the ramp in a moment. The underside is probably as impressive as the top side. It really is quite an amazing car, and as you may have seen on our social media yesterday, some of the pictures, and the reason it's so good is if we look here at the mileage, 24,957 miles, and it really is well, a museum piece more or less. If you look inside the car, okay, we've got some covers on the driver's seat here, but if we look around inside it, the trim really is hardly worn at all, completely unchanged from the day it was built, and it drives as well as the day it drove out of the showroom. It really is a truly incredible car. There really probably isn't anything else quite like this in existence now. Walking around with a camera phone doesn't really do it justice, but it gives you an idea of just how nice this is, and a real contrast compared to today's modern offerings. To get into something like this and drive it, where you actually need to use your brain a bit, no parking sensors, a little bit less power than we're used to today on a lot of cars, and that's actually really refreshing, and it's really rewarding to drive as well. Absolutely lovely. A really, really impressive car. So this is owned by a very good customer of ours. It's with us at the moment just for its routine sort of service and MOT work. And yeah, it's absolutely faultless. As I say, underneath it's really like a new car, and I'll show you some pictures of that in a moment. And to have this Golf and the Clubsport S together is really special, because they represent something that you can't really sort of find that easily these days, and that's something that with the car market, or if you're a car enthusiast, whether you're a Volkswagen brand enthusiast or not, it's hard not to appreciate seeing two cars like this, because it's very, very difficult to find two cars of this nature in this condition and have them together. So we're really grateful for that and really fortunate, and it's really nice to actually be able to walk around and show you each of them and talk you through in a little bit of detail. Absolutely fantastic. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.